Moo.
Canadian Cow Gaming.
Hey, thanks for watching and tuning in. This is going to be a for fun only tank tier list for Mythic Plus. So I'm basing this off of what I've experienced from playing with a bunch of tanks on Mythic Plus, trying not to keep numbers too in mind because the numbers are kind of all over the place with tanks and there's some big nerfs here and there. But overall, I think all tanks are in a pretty good spot, except for a couple. But this is going to be where I'm thinking is going to be the top tier overall. But also, I'm going to try to keep in mind where pugs kind of will sit with it, whether or not it's going to be easy for pugs to deal with, which is it definitely a factor. So first on the list is the Blood Death Knight. So Blood Death Knight, one big advantage of Blood DK is that Blood DK right now just has everything going. It has good damage. Once again, tuning numbers aside, there are better damage tanks, but it does do a lot of self-healing. It basically can't die, so it allows your healer just to sit there, heal the group up, and not have to worry about anything. And it's not going to be the healer can focus on healing party members, and for that, it's just straight up the most survivable tank for the most part, but its damage isn't amazing. It's also it's not the easiest to play currently, but it is pretty easy to play. And Bear. So Bear's not happy. Bear hasn't been doing good. Bear is definitely bottom of the barrel when it comes to tanks. We'll just put it down there for now. Its damage isn't great. Its survivability isn't it's good. Like all these tanks are going to be able to do 20s, but Bear is just going to be a lot more difficult. It really doesn't do any damage outside of Moonfire, and it doesn't really bring anything else to the table. It really doesn't have a lot going for it. That's really all I have to say about Bear. We'll do Paladin next. So Paladin's kind of sleeper, I think. So Paladin has pretty okay survivability. The problem with Paladin is that when all of its survivability buttons are off and it's all on cooldown, you're dead. That's the big problem with Paladin. But Paladin does insane damage right now from the Paladins that I played with when I did a 15 Algathars the other day, and the Paladin was doing 80k on some of the packs, 80k plus on some of the packs where and I was like he was above all the other DPS, most of the DPS. I wouldn't say all, but most in that group. Paladin does a ton of damage, but its survivability is definitely lacking. So it's kind of in the opposite end of Blood DK, where Blood DK has tons of survivability but no damage. Paladin has tons of damage but very good survivability until it doesn't have survivability. Then it's dead. So puts it in kind of a difficult spot because in long fights, long AOE pack pulls, which is a lot of higher end Mythic Plus, it's definitely going to struggle. In the beginning phases of Mythic Plus, when the pushing up, it's going to be doing really well. People are actually probably going to want it until it gets to that point where the Paladin is just having a hard time keeping. So I'm actually going to put Paladin in B tier for that. Next, we'll do Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter is definitely going back to the kite meta days. Demon Hunter is similar problem as Prop Paladin. Tons of damage, but when it doesn't have its defensives, it's dead and has to run away. The one advantage is that Demon Hunter can bounce away and run away, but I haven't seen anything super stellar out of it. So I'm actually going to put it with the Paladin. We'll do Prot Warrior next. So Prot is probably the best. I would say easily the best tank currently in Dragonflight. What it's looking like, near infinite rage regeneration, tons of damage. Like it easily outdoes any ranged DPS currently on any pull. Is both single target and AOE. Its survivability, because it basically has an infinite rage regeneration, it doesn't worry about any damage being taken. It's just an unstoppable machine. I do think there's going to be some tuning that's going to come through that's going to knock it on its ass, but so far it's doing really well. And lastly is going to be Brewmaster. So Brewmaster does really good damage compared to some of the other tanks there. Definitely does do more damage than like a Blood DK, but doesn't do as much damage as a Prot Warrior or a Paladin. But a Brewmaster does have better survivability than those other ones. With that, I'm actually going to put in the A tier. So overall tank balance from what I've seen is really good, with the exception of Druid. The rest of the tanks are, well, Druid and Prot Warrior. If they reduce the amount of rage regeneration of Prot Warrior, it will really kind of neuter the class and bring it down here. But if they just reduce its overall damage output, I think it would bring it down to like an A tier for sure. The challenge is just they can't nerf it too much. And if they nerf it too much, it's going to be down at the bottom real easily. But there you go. There's my predictions for Dragonflight Season 1 Mythic Plus tank tier. Thanks for watching. Peace.